notification yet. Is it live?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
I'm the only one watching.
Okay. I haven't gotten a notification. That's why I asked that question, because I'm like, like I'm subscribed to your channel.
There's Will.
Okay.
So Will.
There we go.
Chef Gang. Hey from Ontario, Lori. What's up, penny stock investor? Good to see you. I haven't seen you in here before. Chef Gang, Lori, what's up? Big Law, what's the deal, baby? Sammy D, Prince Lex, salute. Yabani, Akani, Akabar, Alam Ra. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Glenn Wayne. Franco, 542Q. Gang, gang, April BB. Gang. Kim Jet, gang. When you see me, you say gang. Gang, gang, blessings, salutations, and greetings. What's the deal? Invisible Hands Defense Corp. Salute King, salute the King and the Soldier. Salute. Salute the Queen.
Chef Gang, where are you in Texas? Hey, Joe.
Frank, Canada. Shout out to Canada. You know what it is, baby. Shout out to Bums. I'm going to bring to you tonight. Man, I'm so excited about this. First of all, shout out to the only real #1 live. Only live. There's only one. Nobody else does this live but this here. This right here. Nobody else does it live. We do it live, okay?
Okay.
We do it live. There's only one live Dinar show out there. That pre-recorded mess, that's garbage, y'all. That if you can't call them and talk to them, that's pre-recorded. Only real live show out there. Never forget that. First one, do it. When I do it, I'm going to drop the mic on.
Yeah, I don't know where Midland is.
It's in Dallas.
Chef. It is? Oh, okay.
What up, B? What up, Juan? Ron, what's up, baby? Bethany, salute the Queen.
Hey, Bethany.
You want the heat? Oh, I got that fire for you behind tonight. If you ain't got a pad and pencil, baby, get ready, because I'm about to soothe the ears with the sweetest, sweetest sounds that you ever heard in your whole life. Yeah, but wait till. Yeah. Let me be in the kitchen.
Okay. As long as
Let me be in the kitchen.
As long as you know. I know you'll be on it all day.
Yeah, nasty with it. Chef Brando with them pots. And I'm
Hey, Clyde.
I have been looking forward to doing this show since Saturday. Only live, #1 chat in Dinarland, that be us. Yeah, I'm gonna do a show Wednesday. I got a blister. It's not a hot. I'm not breaking out. Huh? No, it's not a fight. It's a blister. It's hot. That's what all the water is. Shout out, and you should join Patreon, because if you love this, you will love the nuggets that I'm dropping on there. Because that's fire. Fire. Join Patreon. #1 Dong Show in the universe. The Dong Show Fridays coming to you every Friday. Patreon only. Bam. Salute the King.
Hi, James. Oh, James, I gotta send you something on Facebook. Check your messages.
Let me start this off with y'all. We got a public service announcement, okay?
Ain't that the shirt you got on?
Yeah, but friends, don't let friends buy fake IQD, okay? Friends, don't let friends buy fake IQD. Don't let your friends buy fake IQD.
So what'd you say?
About what?
You need to say it again.
I said I had a public service announcement.
No, say what you said again. Friends don't let friends what?
Buy fake IQD.
There you go.
Okay? Now, where to start? I guess you got to start from the beginning, don't you?
The introduction.
Of course. Isn't that how we got started? Isn't that how we got our names in the game?
Yeah.
Well, don't you think we ought to start there?
I am April Beebe.
And I am the humble, most gracious, probably a bit meek, Mr. Brando! And welcome to the Reinstatement. There's no such thing as an RV, only RI. Reinstatement of the Iraqi Dinar IQD and chat. And if you ain't with it, I don't know why you ain't with it. You should have been down with the cause because this is so interesting, okay?
James, go check your messenger now.
Okay, let's start it off with this. I'm going to roll through the news pretty quick, but I'm going to touch on some things that I think are mucho importante.
Mucho?
Caliente?
Caliente.
Fuego. Okay, fuego.
What's fuego mean?
Hot. Fire.
I thought caliente was.
Mucho caliente is like heat, hot. Fuego is like, ooh, you sexy,
Sizzling?
son. You sexy.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh my.
Theoretically, okay, the title of this article is, Can Iraq Become a World-Class Petrochemical Player? Theoretically, there is no reason why Iraq cannot become one of the richest leading producers of petrochemical in the world, given its tremendous reserves in oil and gas. Finally, with a relatively low oil price complex and its crude exports falling in October, Iraq appears marketing some advance on moving its long-stalled push to the petchem sector forward. Earlier this week, Iraq's Minister of Oil, or MO, made it public that Baghdad is to go ahead with a range of projects that will add around almost 800,000 barrels per day of refining capacity at a current nameplate capacity of around 1 million BPD, although its efficiency capacity is around 650,000. How are they going to have that big of an increase? Could it be because of Kurdistan? Yeah, it could be. Anyway, the particular expansion would come from adding new refining unit at the Kabbalah facility, the new facility at Kirkuk. Oh my God, it's like I'm reading this for the first time. Now, they're already telling you that they've made a deal with Kirkuk. Now, that's not the HCL, but it is an allocation of a certain amount of barrels per day. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So what does that tell you? Think, kids. Do. They've already counted that money in the budget because they're going to countermeasure it. They're hedging their bets with Kirkuk oil to change the budget. You see what I'm saying? Oh gosh, okay. Such advances belay the major problems that Iraq has yet to address in building out its petrochems infrastructure that can effectively manage foray in a global petrochem markets. These are one of the reasons why oil and petchem super major Royal Dutch Shell has not yet made any substantial progress on what was to have been Iraq's flagship petchem project, the U.S. $11 billion Nebraska petchem plant in the southern oil hub of Basra. The deal to build was signed way back in January, with the original memorandum of understanding predating that by another 3 years back then, hoping that both sides had a high hope for the future of Nebraska. But Shell releasing a statement that Iraq's cabinet had authorized that Nebraska project company would work jointly with the Ministries of Oil and Transport to develop a joint investment model for a world-scale petrochemical cracker and derivative complex in South Iraq. So, what are they telling you here?
What?
They're telling you now that earlier, that this was written on November 20th. What's today's date? The 20th. No. What's today's date?
25th.
So that means 5 days ago, they knew that they already had a date for Kirkuk. They already knew it. You see what I'm saying? They already knew that Kirkuk was on board. If Kirkuk's on board, what does that mean? The 2020 budget is basically done. Now, shall I keep stirring this pot? I think I shall. Iraqi figures on the U.S. sanctions list on charges of corruption and repression. You want to know how you get rid of the corrupt? You put them on a list. Here's the list. Penalties target: Abdul Jihad al-Hashimi, Director Head of Government's Office; Hassoun Faleh Security; Ahmed al-Assadi, Soldiers Brigade Leader Amman; Nuri al-Maliki, Leader of the Coalition of the State. Didn't I tell you the U.S. was going to come after his ass? Didn't I tell you he was going to get arrested? Didn't I tell you that? Now he's under, guess what? U.S. sanctions probably, and pretty darn quickly. Now, if I read the whole article, you'd find out that sources told the Arabs, the Washington is also considering pushing the Iraqi figures from the first political line on charges of corruption and violation of human rights. That's death by firing squad, kids, just like Saddam Hussein. The other part of that list is Amiri, and there's a couple other figures, okay? But that's the highlights. But that's not I told you so, because I know what I'm doing. The central bank withdraws 2 companies and leaves the midst buying and selling currencies. Now, because the auctions, everybody stop the auctions, and I'm with you, stop the auctions. But you got to remember, the auction doesn't buy and sell physical currency anymore. It's all digital. So now what they're doing is they're saying, if you're digitally stealing, we're going to oust your butts too. So the central bank sent a cease and desist basically to 2 letters. Now, there's something called a demand deposit that I'm going to get to later on, okay? It was also decided to confiscate the letter of guarantees of the Ocean Company issued by South Islamic Bank for Investment and Finance, which amounted to $50 million in favor of the bank, as well as confiscated an insurance deposit deposited with the bank, which amounted to an additional $50 billion. Okay? So, huge news. Banks getting ousted. That's awesome. Pence arrived in Baghdad, went and visited the troops, right? Mm-hmm. He didn't go to Baghdad, and Baghdad says they felt snubbed, right? Like, well, he didn't come visit us. But he told Mahdi, the reason why I'm not going to Baghdad, dude, you got 1 million protesters in the street. Security, I'm going to get in, I'm going to get out, you know what I'm saying? But Barzani did go to meet Barzani. You see what I'm saying? So now you got to think, well, why would he go meet Barzani? So he goes and meet with Barzani, and guess what happens basically the next day?
What?
Baghdad and Kirkuk have a meeting, right? And guess what happens?
What?
It's announced today that, guess what?
What?
There's a deal in place for them to be cooperative, have joint cooperatorship. They're going to give them shares, which I didn't read to be 17%, but it was in the high 12s, plus a little bit of percentage on the side, to get them their percentage out of the budget as long as they provide that 250,000 barrels per day. Now, shout out to Mark, because Mark gave me a really good thing that said, hey, Pence gave the green light for Baghdad to Kirkuk that they could sell their oil freely, only after they provide that 250,000 barrels per day. Think about it. You got to pay the cash cow. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You got to pay the cash cow. If you don't pay the cash cow, none of your people get paid. So they're allowing them to make a little money extra, but they got to pay the cash cow first. That's the important part, okay? An arrest warrant for the former governor Saleh al-Din against the background case of a judiciary. Why is that important? Because the more you see that them strive to try the corrupt, the more that eliminates them from stealing and from them having an avenue for them to have access to their currency. If they have access to their currency, that means they have access to travel and to flee the country. And that's all a part of what we're trying to stop. The bad guys don't have to win. Now, I'm going to read this in its entirety. So if you guys are listening to my voice, you're going to want to turn this up. It is the exchange rate, gentlemen. With the exchange rate tends to indicate the number of units one currency versus 1 unit of another. It changes. And this important reflects the monetary equation for deducting part of the purchasing power when reducing and enhancing the purchasing power of the monetary unit on the rise. So meaning that, listen, if you take the monetary equation of deducting part of the purchasing power, meaning you take out the currency, which is what they're doing digitally, right? Take it out of the marketing place, right? And you enhance and you make it rise up and enhance the purchasing power of the citizens. The problem associated with the deduction of enhancement is that enters the purchasing power without taking into account the income segment. It is an additional tax at decline and additional income at rise without correlation with the level of income. So what that means is they're saying is, look, even if they give us more purchasing power, you still have to take into account taxes, right? If we raise the taxes, that doesn't really help you because it takes away from your purchasing power. So there's a fine line that they're trying to reach between the two of them, right? Mm-hmm. Therefore, the choice of the exchange regime is simple. The system is central to follow the resorts of the exchange rate fluctuations, currency value, as well as determining the channel of transformation of its effect to the real macroeconomic joints. The significant effect of currency fluctuation or change has been reflected in the exchange system option between a multi-spectrum floating system, multi-spectrum floating system, and a multi-spectrum fixed exchange system. Parentheses a peg. It is a rare for a monetary authority to clearly state the nature of their exchange system, de jure, but the actual transaction de facto are determined by specialists on the basis of exchange system and specific spectrum. Now, you're going to say, by what is that spectrum? That spectrum is called a purchasing power on a global scale. To calculate Gabe's total buying power, divide the amount of cash in the brokerage account by the initial main margin percentage. For example, to divide your cash balance by 50%, and that's how you come up with that. But more so, purchasing power is the value of a currency expressed in terms of the amount of goods and services that one unit of money can buy. Purchasing power is important because all else being equal, inflation decreases the amount of goods or services would be able to purchase. So that means, remember I told you all those things about how they had to watch the inflationary measures and what was going on with inflation? This is why. I don't teach this because I don't understand the macroeconomics. I'm teaching it to you because I'm trying to show you that's how they changed the market. That's how they're manipulating it. Now listen, looking forward, we estimate consumer price index, which is called a CPI, in Iraq to stand around 105.45 in 12 months' time. In long term, the consumer price index is projected to trend around 1110.90 index points in 2020, according to economic models. So I said to myself, Mr. Brando, what does that mean? In Iraq, the most important components of the consumer price index baskets are, write this down, A, housing. How many articles have I read to you guys that says they're building more housing, right? Water. What did I read all those articles last year about them securing the dam, providing clean and fresh water, doing all these water. Oh my gosh, guys. This is painting by numbers, okay? Now listen, housing, water, the electricity. GE just got ready to have a big deal with Iraq that's going to provide all these stations. I forgot what they call them. I'll read it in a second. But all these stations to provide millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people worth of electricity. Okay? Millions. And LPG, which is how they use petroleum and natural gas. So remember what I told you, that they had to harvest a better way of harvesting the natural gas and not losing it, right? Now, how they deal with that is a part of their CPI. Now, that is the blueprint for making purchasing power. Those things. Nothing else. Does that make perfect sense to you? They just told you in an article before, and I'll read you another one that says, we're going to increase the value of the Iraqi dinar. By what measure? Through their consumer purchasing index. That's the only true way you can do that. Now, different measures of money supply, M2 to M3. In short term, time deposits in banks and 24-hour money market funds. M3 includes M2 plus long-time deposits and money market funds. 24-hour maturity. The exact definition of three measures depend on the country. Okay? Now, we talked about taking money from the budget. That's why they're decreasing the spending, right? Listen to this now. They're decreasing the spending on the South. Now, you don't have to listen to this. You can keep reading. They're decreasing the spending on the politicians, right? Because they're going to lessen Parliament, right? Now, they just announced this. The Prime Minister approves was obtained on the recommendations of the Advisors Committee in our office. The banks will lend investors and businesses to small and medium enterprises and rerun the stalled factories under certain conditions. Remember what I told you? I wanted to see them get more active in manufacturing. That's the difference between Iraq and Vietnam, honestly. Vietnam has a supreme manufacturing, they're supreme industrialists. Iraq is archaic in that. They're great in petrochemical once they got taught, but they're archaic in how they do that. The rest of the conditions relate the project to be the guarantee of 75% of the value, not to impose any fees other than fees to open credit recognized. What is that? That is called cutting the red tape. If there's no bureaucracy in opening up businesses and enterprise, guess what? That attracts what? Come on, kids. Foreign investors. When you got foreign investors in the game, now you're not using budgetary money to allocate towards enterprise. You can take that money and do what with it? Pay the citizens. Now, Pence, we already just talked about that. the Peshmerga forces and the popular PMU and the Peshmerga forces are now under the Iraqi military. So what does that tell you? They didn't accept all of those militias into the Iraqi military. The Peshmergas were really important and the PMUs were really important. Now, those have to be accounted for in what? In budgetary matters. Because now we understand fiscal policy, we have to account for that, right? So, let me show you how you do that. Uh-oh. Here we go. Earlier on Saturday, okay, this is Saturday. Now, remember I told you 5 days ago, there was an article that already said they were going to give him this oil. KRG representative in Baghdad described the meeting as one of the best so far. They, Erbil, and Baghdad officials discussed a framework, the submission of 250,000 barrels a day, and guess when it starts? January 1, 2020. Now, this article came out the 24th, which is 4 days later. So now, everybody in the Middle East knows that Kirkuk's been giving, they're going to do this. So don't you think that they know that in the 2020 budget, that you don't think, now I'm being crazy out here, right? Who is that? Bethany. Oh, thank you, Bethany. Thank you. Shout out, Bethany. You don't think that Kirkuk wasn't smart enough to say, you're not only, even when we take less money in our percentage for the budget, we'll go from 17 to 12 and 3/4, but guess what you're going to do? You're going to activate Article 140. You're going to give us that. You don't think they did? They got the GOI by the short and curlies. They're going to give them that, and they're going to give them that now because they got 1 month to kick all this off because they already know that freaking budget's done. That budget is done. The allocations are in it. Now, the details might not be worked out, but the budget's done. And don't be a simpleton. There is no rate in that budget. That is pure speculatory nonsense. The rate's never going to be in the budget. You want to know why? Because unless they're going to flip that switch like that, it ain't going to happen. But guess what will be in that budget, which will be a telltale sign, is the HCL law and Article 140. One or the other. If one or other are in that budget, if I see that in that budget, I'm not telling you to quit your jobs. I'm not telling you that. That's foolish on my part, and don't take that advice. But I'm telling you, you are good. Good. Because you can't pay both 140 and the HCL in 1 year and allow yourself enough money to run that country without changing the CPI, baby, because now we got a definition for it. I'm on fire. While the exchange rate tends to indicate the number of units. Okay, we already read that. Oh, the last thing that cut off on that, he says, it's the exchange rate, gentlemen. Now, they tell us several times in several articles, this new budget that's coming out in 2020 is like no other budget. I probably read 20 articles over a time span that says the government is spending the 2020 budget, the House of Representatives, next week. We know that's next week on Sunday. We know that to be, that's what they've said, for the next year. Now, understand this. The deal with the oils per barrel per year with Kirkuk is only signed for 1 year. Do you know why?
Why?
Because as Kirkuk wants more allocation out of the budget, what are they going to have to do? Either decide that they're going to sell their oil in the free market to somebody that they don't know, or allocate that money to the Baghdad to get more money out of the budget. It's pay for play. So that means that what they're saying, Baghdad's finally getting smart, is saying everybody's not going to suck off this huge oil teat, so to speak. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we know the budget's different. So they've already told you, but how is it different? Why is it different? Because it accounts for things in this budget that they've never accounted for. That's called transparency, and that's part about reevaluating your currency. You have to have transparent books. That means you got to open up all the books so everybody can see what we're doing, kids. This is simple. This is called painting by numbers, okay? Now, they announced it officially. The oil minister, Thar Gaban, announced on Monday, 25th, Baghdad and Erbil have reached an oil agreement that will start to be implemented early next year. Boom, done. I told you. Now, okay. Read that one. The United Nations, I thought this was very interesting, okay, y'all? The United Nations submitted to Parliament observation on the statutes of the Commission of Parliamentary Elections. The United Nations is a group of observation of the Council of Ministers on the laws of the Independent High Electoral Commission and the elections of the House of Representatives, while the latter stressed that it would work to study all proposals received from all quarters in order to mature the two laws. Okay? So, institutionally speaking, the laws are trying to get done is the election law and the High Commission Council. And I was really, the High Electoral Commission. So I was kind of like, what is the High Electoral Commission? The Independent High Electoral Commission is Iraq's Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission is headed by a 9-member board. 7 of those members are voting and must be Iraqi citizens. The other 2 members are Chief Electoral Officer and an outside expert appointed by, guess who?
Ooh.
The United Nations. So guys, the United Nations has had their hand in this in electing every government official that's either been good, bad, or horrible. Now what they're saying is, now the people are finally saying is, you know what? That's a fractured system. We don't want that system. So maybe because the United Nations can't run their own business, why would we allow them to run Iraq's business? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that is the news.
That is the mother trucking news. Okay.
They already told you they're going to raise the market value of the Iraqi dinar. How? By a consumer pricing index. How? Through the markets that I just described you. I have a chart that I posted on Facebook. It's all viable. Now, part of your money supply, kids, is something called a demand deposit. Now, think about this. You're going to say, well, there's roughly 43 trillion dinars out there. A demand deposit in reference to currency. Okay, I'm going to read this to you. This is very important. Hang on, sorry about the dead air. Definition. Okay. A demand deposit account consists of funds held in a bank account which deposited funds can be withdrawn at any time, such as checking, savings. DDA accounts can pay interest on deposit into the accounts but aren't required. A DDLA allows funds to be accessed at any time, while term deposit account restricts access for predetermined times. But guess what? Guess who determines what demand deposit currency is?
Say that again.
Okay, so a demand deposit is a fraction of your currency, right? That you can be in checking, savings, and it can draw interest, right? Mm-hmm. But if you read down further here, a demand deposit is also deemed by the bank. The bank depends what's demand deposits. So when you hear that there's 43 trillion dinars out there, all of it's not demand deposit. A lot of those bills were damaged, they were fractured. So let's just say half that's actual real currency. Mm-hmm. Half, that's 22 trillion dinars, right? Mm-hmm. Now you cut that in half, which is feasible. It's very feasible because they collected a lot of bad notes, right?
Right.
Now let's talk about this. We know that at least 5 to 7 million of that is in change, the coins. We know it has to be. So now you're down to about, let's say, 18 to 17 trillion dinar.
Okay.
Now you can revalue your currency at a nominal value because you have a low enough note count to substantiate what you want based upon the precious metals and based upon the value of the currency on that CPI. That's how. That's all I got to say about that. That right there was worth the price of admission. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead and ask your questions, honey. I'm sorry. I was off on that.
So Christopher Phillips wants to know, how come the ZIM is at $369 per 1 USD and the dinar is still at $11.83 per USD? It looks like the ZIM is going to go before the dinar.
No, nowhere close. They're under sanctions. That's one thing. You can't revalue your currency if it's under sanctions. And number two, that's a made-up currency amount by the government of Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe's so screwed up and corrupt, they make Iraq look like a bunch of choir boys. Zimbabwe is probably one of the most corrupt places on earth.
What is your thoughts for the April 2020 timeline? There's a lot of chatter in the chat saying April 2020.
Who's chat? I don't listen to chat. I read the news.
In this chat.
I read the news. The news doesn't say that. The demonstrators say they want reforms today. Do you know what they will do by April 20 if they're already burning bank buildings and burning their homes? They will burn Iraq to the floor. Stop with the foolishness. Stop. Think! That's why I'm here, to make you think. Define things. They've already told you they're not leaving the streets until they get what they want. Think. April's foolish. You would burn Iraq to the floor. And by then, there would be no currency because they burn all the banks. Think. That's foolishness.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I'm preaching. I'm on a pulpit tonight. Settle in for a lesson. Think. I'm going to force you to think.
Okay. Casey says, what went down this past Sunday over there? Nothing? Or question mark, nothing?
Oh, yeah. They made the budget whole. They did secretly. They didn't tell anybody, but they made the budget whole. They didn't say anything they want to, but I knew 24 days before they posted that the budget was done, that it was done. How would I know that? There's no way I could know that.
Okay.
They just put it on a major news section. How are they going to do this? By getting $250,000 that they've already agreed to do it. I just read it to you.
Yeah, Remnant wants it way before April.
Way. They ain't got no choice. If they want to have a country.
Wabi Sabi said dead air beats squirrels videos any day of the week. Just keep it 100.
Oh, man, thank you. Number one, real live to chat in the whole universe. Everybody else is faking and perpetrating. And if they got a question, call me. I ain't going after nobody because that's rubbish, man. Because they don't know it. If they know it, then they could speak upon it. See, the thing that really kills me about this investment is I could read a bunch of headlines and get everybody excited because I'm an excitable person. You know what I'm saying? If I get amped up, I get other people amped up. Because I'm in sales. What do you think I do? But the reason why I get amped up is because I read the news and I put it together. It's called connecting dots. That's called thinking deeply. Most of these people don't think deeply. They read the headlines and get excited.
So only in the hood, you got people quoting you. Only in the hood says reading is fundamental.
Reading is fundamental.
Wait, listen. They won't stand for an April date. It's now or never, people.
Shoot. And if you don't know, now you know.
Mike P says, so when do you think the reinstatement will happen, if not March or April?
I'll tell you. Between now and when it happens. I'm dead serious. Now and when it happens.
It's rumors that the Iraqi dinar can revalue by the end of November. What do you think? Well, it's the end of November.
It's November. Man, it's over. We on to December, baby. I'm dead honest. But you know what? I don't care if it happens in December. I don't care if it happens in January. It's now until when it happens. I've always told you that. I don't do dates. That's dumb. I don't do rates. I'm not the dinar soothsayer. Miss Bibi and I were joking about it. One day I'm going to buy me one of those what do you call those genie hats?
Yeah.
And I'm going to sit on here and go, Iraqi gods, please tell me when the Iraqi dinar will revalue.
Michael wants to know, don't you think the protesters know that things are being done in the government?
My person who's boots on the ground every day, you can see him on Twitter, told me the other day, no, they don't. And they're mad as hell that they don't, and they want answers, and they want it now. That's why they want them to flip that government over. Because they're not showing them any progress. There's a bunch of lip service and not a lot getting done. And that's why they want Mahani's head. If he don't hurry up, y'all, watch my prediction. They will fire him. Because he won't have a choice. The pressure's too immense. And whoever they put in there, the very first thing they will do is give them purchasing power. Because they ain't got no jobs. Social services is the only way these people are mostly going to get off the streets for a while. Think about it. You entitle them for a little bit, 6 months, get them to working. You go, this is what Social Security was meant to really be. Not you be on it for the rest of your life. They're entitled to those oil contracts in the HCL because that's the way they wrote it in the Constitution. They can't, if they don't implement it, it never happens. But they're going to implement it because the Iraqi demonstrators are demanding it. They're not asking, they're demanding. And they're taking action. And you know what? With 100 and something, 400 and something people dead, thousands injured, they domed them, they skulled them. They deserve that money more than you do or I do. To be truthful, you ain't died. You ain't lost nobody to this. Unless you were a soldier, and God bless you too. These people deserve this. And so do we. We've been walking with them.
Let's see. Hold on.
Man.
Hold on.
And I ain't got to get you hyped up about it. Let me tell you why they say dinar goggles. Because I just read it to you. They told you they can increase the value of the Iraqi dinar like this. I have another article here. Let me see if I can find it.
While you look for that article, let me ask you this question. Brando, did you hear anything about the citizens celebrating in the streets instead of protesting?
Oh, if you look at videos during the day, it's like protest. At night, it's a party. You know what I'm saying? They got DJs out. Yeah, I've seen that. They've been doing it since like 2-3 weeks now. Heck yeah. You guys gotta understand. Imagine you and all of us having nothing to do all day but party. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'd be partying too.
I would party.
I'd be in the streets too. I'd do nothing.
Let's see. Anthony Black says, is Mahandi playing blocker because he has something to lose if they go international?
Nah, he got nothing to lose. You know what? He's playing blocker, I guess, because he feels in some way that these people like Iran are going to kill him. You see what I'm saying? He's going to lose his life behind this, and maybe he doesn't feel like he should. He's really inherited a bad situation. It's kind of like every president on his first term. Whatever the other president left you, you're kind of stuck with. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? He didn't cause this problem for 16 years. He just walked into it. Trying to find this one article.
Let's see. James says Pimpe said that they need Trump as their PM. Laugh out loud. Okay. Pleasure to meet you, Kendall. They're talking. Ain't no fake news here. We busting them busters.
Shoot ya.
Let me catch Mark Z out slipping on aisle 4.
Shoot, busting in his behind. Man, I wish I could find this article.
Sammy D says January 2020, Miss April.
Miss April could be right. I could lose my money. Happens.
Whoop whoop party. Says Remnant 1. Oh, cool, Bazin. I'm glad you got it. Yeah, I've been working feverishly on them coins, you guys. I sent some out this weekend.
And y'all quit asking me. You'll get them when you get them. Okay?
People still ask
Oh, yeah, every day.
Oh, okay.
I've been a member for this long. Dude, you don't buy them. That's my gift. You pay for certain things. I provide those services.
We're getting
you
them.
get them out when you get them out. Quit asking me.
We'll get
you ask me, you'll go to the end of the line. Quit asking me. I'm tired of it.
It's okay. I got them. I'm working on them. I got a stack downstairs. I'm still working. I'm getting some more out this week, so I'll be going back to the post office again. I got some out this weekend. I'm really shocked that people got them as quick as they did because I went to the post office Saturday and I got messages today. A lot of people got them already.
Well, that's good.
James said his sister got hers already too.
Good.
So I was glad to hear that. Chad hit me up. He got his.
You know
so a lot of people got theirs, but they're coming.
Hang on, y'all. I'm gonna check one place real fast. Sorry about the dead air. I got one more place to check, which is our club.
Stack downstairs. I gotta do so.
Okay.
We're on their way.
Okay. The budget.
And that crypto market is a bloodbath. I don't know if you guys have been watching, but like yesterday it dropped, but it quickly recovered. Slightly recovered. I don't want to say quickly. Hey, Mr. Frazier, I see you out there.
I can't find it.
Yes, Ken, there will be Patreon shows this week.
Probably Wednesday. Maybe 2 Wednesday, 1 Friday.
Okay.
I can't find the other article, y'all. I'm sorry. Go ahead and ask your questions. I'm sorry.
Anthony Black wants to know, do you have... Do we have any angry tape to wrap coins for Mark Z's mouth? Miss BB, I'm going to take your advice and buy XRP. Oh my gosh, XRP got down to 20 cents the other day. Like, I watch it 24/7. The market never shuts down. It's rebounded slightly. Bitcoin dropped to 6,000 some change and rebound to 7,200. It's been going back and forth. Part of it, I think, is the holidays.
Let me give an explanation real quick.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No.
I'm going to tell y'all something about why no WTO. Okay? For all you guys that keep asking about the WTO, we know this. The WTO wants all these people to want to be what? On an even playing field as far as their currency is concerned. They didn't go to Iraq this month because of the protesters, right? But doesn't it kind of make sense to you guys that the reason why they're also not there is they're not on an even playing field too? If they were on an even playing field going into it, guess what? They'd probably be there a lot faster. But because of the protests, they're not there yet. So just think about that.
Yeah, I was checking out that Tesla Cybertruck 2 extraterrestrial. All you gotta do is put $100 down. The truck is gonna be ready in 2022. It looks they up against the F-150. They're supposed to be the bomb. Like it outperforms.
There's another one called Rywa.
But
I sent you that one.
Yeah, I saw that one. But the Tesla Cybertruck, it outperforms the F-150. They have them like side by side. They were doing like an analysis on YouTube earlier today, and all you have to do is put $100 deposit. It holds your truck. They're gonna be ready in 2022. $100, and it's refundable.
Rywa's the same thing, and it's ready in 2020, and it goes longer than the Tesla truck. It's got a longer battery life, less recharging. But I mean, it's an ugly truck, so I mean, I don't know. It doesn't look
and
that
then
good.
I don't, I gotta look at all the
specifications.
Yeah, but the spec. So the number one truck is the F-150, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the number one selling truck. It's not the number one truck. It's number one selling. I mean, I don't care about that really.
Right. Well, in the video, you just gotta watch it out there. They talk about it, and basically, like, you can shoot at the Tesla truck, and basically it's bulletproof even. So I'm like, why are they making bulletproof cars? Which is very interesting. But anyway.
Okay.
I'm like, are they getting ready for a war that we don't know about? Really, Reaper? So you're into stellar looms? I got some stellar looms, but I haven't been picking up more. It dropped too. But, that's the sister to XRP. Are you looking for something, babe?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The Porsche Torcheron or whatever.
Kendall, I agree the Tesla truck is ugly, but I'm all for the technology, I hate to say. And honestly, I like the Tesla Model X out of all of them. But it does look like a spaceship. And the one thing in the demonstration, okay, you're making a bulletproof truck. But okay, I think they threw something at the window and it shattered. So, go figure.
Yeah, the car, you guys can keep all that. When the Taycan Turbo S comes out in an electric model, I'll buy one.
Drayville, it depends on your skill level. You asked if Coinbase account is simple to start. For me, it's simple to start. I think some people are challenged with some of it. I think Coinbase is the easier accounts out of all of them to start up. If you're trying to create a cryptocurrency account, and the fees are greater on Coinbase because it is a user friendly.
It's like Robinhood, or whatever you call that account. Robinhood. It's the same theory. If it's simple, they're going to charge you more fees because you're not skilled to use the pro set services of those things. And so the pro set, you have to be more involved and watch it more. If you want to just point and click, use Robinhood or use Coinbase. If you don't,
the only difference is Robinhood has less cryptos available. So, there's really not any other questions. Do you guys have any other questions for Mr. Brando? I was just filling air while you were looking.
I was trying to find something, couldn't find it.
Sammy D says, so what are the big surprises that we still have to look for in 2019?
We just went over all of them.
Okay.
I just went over all of them.
Sammy, he said he went over all of them.
Sorry, Prince, you got to go back and rewatch that part, honey.
That was Sammy.
I know. It's Prince Lex.
Oh.
I know them by their Twitter names and other things, too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you guys remember, I didn't get in this investment when I got into it almost 10 years ago. I used to think every weekend. And then I started thinking to myself, well, if it's not going to be every weekend, I have to teach myself why it's going to be faster than that or slower than that. That's why the news is important. We know that when the budget comes out, if we see a change in the budget next month, it's going to probably be the following month. If we don't and they hold on to it and then all of a sudden they make a change, then they've made that change because going into the fiscal next year, they want to go into it with a clean accounting record, right? So that's very simple to do. It's a flip of the switch. It's not for Christmas. It's not for anything crazy. It's just for their accounting metrics. You see what I'm saying? Those are called benchmarks. That's how businesses work. You don't just do things because, it feels good. Let's do it. Nah, you do things because these are the reasons why we want to do it. We're looking at our inflation. We're looking at our housing. We're looking at our electricity. We're looking at all these factors. And because of all these things, now we can give them purchasing power and alleviate taxation and keep inflation low so it keeps the purchasing power. See, that's how that goes. I can't go backwards, Black Sparrow. I can only go forwards. Yeah, Nathan's on his new boat. I haven't talked to him.
Black Sparrow. Let me see if I can go to 9:30.
I'll put it to you like this. If Zimbabwe, if they get through all the articles of reinstatement through the IMF to hold a nominal value and get off of sanctions, you're looking at 2030, 2035, 2040 probably. It ain't going to happen in next year. You can count that out. Keep it 100. Keep it 100 on your investment. You wonder why? Because I'm off to the next investment. That's why I'm doing the Dong Show on Patreon. And if you like my analysis on how this works, you're going to love Patreon. Informative, shorter burst. We do it live. You can ask a couple questions. We're in and out. But you know what? You can go back and watch those videos over and over. I've had so many people last week. I probably had 20 people join last week. They telling me, hey, Mr. Brando, you know what? You said this point. Can I go back? I said, go back and watch it. They said, man, I got pages of notes. Pages of notes because I want to make my life work. I don't want to end up in my same circumstance 3 years from now, 5 years now, 10 years from now, or on this tax implication I can't get myself out of.
So Black Sparrow is not really a question. I don't see a question mark, and I guess that's why I overlooked it. But he says at 9:38 our time, part of me feel that the U.S. is there to protect the oil from other power countries.
Of course.
And in return, getting paid in barrels of oil. Dirt cheap, but profiting off of us. Get our U.S. gas been at
engineering
a steady rate in America.
Well, first of all, we don't need their oil, but if somehow Iraq was paying American engineering in oil, it would make sense because they have enough to do so. And if America wanted to sell that more oil on the free market in exchange, I could see it happening. You see what I'm saying? And that wouldn't be unfair. They got enough oil. They got more oil than anybody. They're going to surpass Saudi Arabia pretty soon. And here, guy, let me clean up the Saudi Arabia IPO thing. Americans can't buy into the IPO. Why? Why? Because even the Saudis don't want the Americans getting rich off of them. The Middle East is a tight-knit boys club. You see what I'm saying? The Iraqi dinar is your salvation to everything. That's why I tell you about dual citizenship. So you can be involved in IPOs in other countries, flip your passport over, then I'm involved inside of Saudi Arabia. I ain't worried about it. I got a plan. That's why you join Patreon, because I got a plan. I'm thinking before I step. You feel me? You can't join the Saudi IPO, kids, being an American. So when I get my money, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to have a citizen buy investment. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to join that IPO anyway, being an American. And I have dual citizenship. So guess what? I'm going to double dip. I'm going to make a bunch of money off the Saudis. Man, bet on sure things. This is a great thing. I was so jazzed into this show to give you guys this information. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you guys see the value in this service. I hope you guys understand that, yeah, I'm brash. Yeah, I probably use a little bit of bad language. And you know what? I probably have strong opinions about certain things. But you know what? I'm passionate about the investment. I'm highly skilled at what I'm doing. And you know what? I don't do it. You know what I make off YouTube? Nothing. You don't even pay my light bill. I do this because I truly want to educate people on how to not just make money, but keep your money. Not into some crappy scheme. I could read articles and go, okay, good luck. Well, good, that looks awesome. That's awesome. It doesn't teach you anything. You got to teach a strategy. By what method? How am I going to make you rich and keep you rich? I'm going to pay you first. Then you're going to invest. The only true game. Man, we killing the game. Number one, true, only real, number one. I started it with this woman right here. You guys invested. You are the only one real live in our chat anywhere. Everybody else is faking and perpetrating. I wish they quit claiming my name because you know what? We did it first. And you know what? We did it a lot better. Thank you.
Okay.
Top of the class.
Okay, ready?
Done.
All right.
I am done. You guys have an awesome, awesome night. I look forward to seeing you guys either on Tuesday for Patreon, Wednesday for sure for 2 Patreons. If I don't do it tomorrow. And we're going to do a show Wednesday night. Thursday, it's going to be the most awesome Thanksgiving. I hope everybody has an awesome time. I know we're going to have an awesome dinner. I hope every one of you guys do too. This is the time for family. And trust me, for all you guys out there that are, like me, have depression, have anxiety, this is not the time to be alone. If you can go be with some friends or family, go do that. Don't sit in your house alone worrying about this darn investment. Go be out there with your friends because you know what? I don't care if you're white. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're straight, Asian, purple, green. You know what? You're people. And when I cut you, you bleed red. Okay? And if you're that, you're humankind. Mankind. There is no race. There's only one race, the human race. And I love you for it. And I respect you. And I don't care about anything else but seeing you succeed and seeing you guys have an awesome week. Okay?
Good night, y'all. Gang, gang.